Thank you for being with us. Now, as I said, it's slow and difficult progress for the forces taking part in this operation. What is the mood on the ground?
Well, there certainly is optimism on the part of those Iraqi troops, which indeed are making progress, substantial progress through western Mosul. You just mentioned that statement where they say they have conquered yet another neighborhood very close to the old city, the downtown part of Mosul, which is really the ultimate objective and will mark the final assault on this city, which of course was the one where Imam Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi proclaimed his caliphate. Nonetheless, the reality which we witnessed on the ground and keep on seeing is that every time there are those sorts of statements being made by Iraqi army spokesperson, the reality on the ground is quite different. Their hold, their grip on those areas, which they say are freshly conquered, is often approximate at best, because when you go around, even with elite units like the Golden Division, they are targeted by sniper fire and mortar rounds, which land very close to their positions, because, for instance, sleeper cells are still very much active in those parts, giving coordinates for IS members to fire those rounds at them. So those are optimistic statements which sort of mask the reality of a progression which has been somewhat slowed down and stymied over the past 24, 48 hours by several different factors. Bad weather, for instance, which has made it impossible for anti-ISIL coalition aircrafts to fly above the city and bomb ISIL positions. It has also made it impossible for that coalition to fly its drones in order to monitor the movements of jihadists. And at times, the downpour of rain has also muddied the fields, and that in turn has caused for some of the coalition's heaviest equipment, vehicles, Humvees, for instance, to get bogged down in certain parts. So there's a little bit of slowing down, some frustration, but nonetheless, troop morale is still pretty high.
And meanwhile, civilians are fleeing the city in their thousands. What can you tell us about that, Gallagher?
Well, exactly. There's a sort of sense that there is a window of opportunity right now, perhaps one last one before that final assault, which will probably be the most violent, bloodiest, and which has yet to come between, again, anti-ISIL coalition forces with the Iraqis on the front lines and on the other side, the jihadists. So those who want to flee are basically doing so right now, and they're using the vehicles of coalition forces as shields as they walk out of the city and make it to various different triage centers, if you will, where the men are separated from the women and children and basically inspected by officers who are in charge of the vetting process and who are looking for suspicious individuals. That would be, of course, members of the jihadist organization who would be trying to pass themselves for displaced Iraqis in order to flee from the assault being launched by Iraqi troops. So it certainly is a complicated task, but as you mentioned, those numbers have steadily been growing, thousands leaving on a daily basis now, and basically streaming towards the refugee camps in and around Mosul, which are growing exponentially day after day.
Gallagher Fenwick